All right. Okay. So today we're going to go through a question and answer. It's a young man that sent me an email, and he was asking me uh, a question. So, but we're going to get to that in a minute. And it's a really good question. Really good question. So I guess everybody else will pop up here sooner or later. Now, let's go ahead and open up with the prayer. Abba Yahuwah, we come before you, thanking you for all your gifts, Father. Thanking you for your chastisement as well. We know that you are a provider, our bestower, and you the master of eternal salvation, the great and terrible Elohim that we love. We ask that you forgive us for our transgressions, our sins, and iniquities, Father. We ask that you help us to be able to repent, Father. Keep that on our minds so we can always walk right, even when the tough times come. Help us be strong, Father. Help us carry this thing to the end. We see that you reveal these things to those that love you, and we see your word is right before our eyes. So we just ask that you keep us, Father, and keep us walking in the way, no matter what. So we also thank you for the Ruach HaKodesh that leads and guides us into all truth. We also thank you for Yahushua HaMashiach, the one that came and took on the curse for us. And we ask these things in Yahushua's name we pray. Hallelujah. All right, let's go ahead and get now. All right, let's see. All right, now let me get this together. Let me do this here. All right. So this young man, Danny Birch, it's been a couple of months ago. He asked me, how can one be a spiritual Israel if Elohim only made the covenants with Israel? I can accept that a natural Gentile can live amongst Israel and also serve the Elohim of Israel, but the covenants were for Israel and Israel alone. Now, I can answer that a couple of ways, because the first covenant was given to them, but then there was some other people there as well. But the second, okay, I'm recording, so everybody go on mute for me, please. Okay, but we're gonna see, because I was wrong about something. I was always thinking that the covenant was supposed to be renewed. Now that's not. I was wrong. It is actually a new covenant. So we're gonna get to that. So I'm gonna answer this young brother's question. All right. So Revelation 22:14 says, "Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city." So that's the whole key to this thing. That's what we want to do. Now we also going to look and see that we're going to find out that it's always been about spiritual Israel, always. And we're going to show you this today. We're going to show you that it's going to take two parts, but we're going to get to this. All right. So let's look at this thing now. All right. Hold on. What am I doing? Oh, I know what I didn't do. Come on now. Do the right thing. There we go. All right. So now we know about the mitzvah. This word mitzvah means commandments, precept, law, ordinances. That's what the mitzvah covers. It's the code of wisdom. So let's go to let's go to Colossians chapter 2 and read verse 14. We're gonna do some reading today too. So you know what? Let me do, yeah. You wanna read a little bit for me? You feeling better? All right, just want to make sure. All right. Colossians 2 and 14 says, blotting out the handwritten of ordinances that was against us, which was contrary to us, and took it out of the way, nailing it to the cross. We're going to see what that means, because a lot of people hit this and they'll say, well, see right here, he took away the handwritten ordinances that was against us, and then he nailed that, so the first thing they come to their mind is commandments, and he nailed that to the cross. We can go to Hebrew 9 and do a lot of digging on that, but that's not what we're talking about. We're going to get there, because I got that in here. So the thing is, we got to look at this word mitzvah, right? The mem, the sadi, the vav, and the hey. Together, it means testing followed by renewal, eternal judgment, right? Connected together to give us revelation. The mitzvah is going to be the constitution of the elect ones. That's what it's supposed to be. This is supposed to be our constitution, the mitzvah. Every word that comes out of Yahuwah's mouth, that's what we're supposed to live and die by. And it's going to have to be proven real soon. I can see that now. I can see that now. There's so many things going on. You can't even how to go to the bank and get money out no more. They don't even want to give you your money. And they already are starting to lock up people's bank accounts. And just, there's nothing you can do about it. And I've been watching videos on that, and it actually happened to a contractor right here. He was on the news, and the guy that did the report said it's not just him, it's happening all over the place. So because they're trying to make they're trying to make that money that what's that thing called the Fed app or Fed Now, whatever it is, they're trying to get this one their money system to trump all other money systems, and they're gonna do it. So some of us might wake up tomorrow and you can't get your money. So what would you do then? See, so that's why we just got to really try to concentrate, get ourselves in a place that we need to get in, and then just look at Yah, because that's going to be our only hope. They slowly showing you that there's not going to be any hope. So this is what we have to live by, this Constitution, if we want to be the elect. And that's going to be very important. We're going to get to that. So Malachi 3:1, he said, behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me, and Yahuwah, whom you seek, shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant. So we know who this is. Whom you delight in, behold, he shall come, says Yahuwah of hosts. So we got to keep that in mind. This is who we looking for. But who may abide, Malachi 3:2, but who may abide the day of his coming? Who's going to be able to stand? Are you going to be ready for that? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire and full of soap. So we know both of these things. People use fire to refine. We watch how Yahuwah takes the fire and he burns up these forests and stuff. And right now it's kind of like it's a mad thing with him. He's trying to make the nations repent. But we know it's times he'll send lightning, it'll burn up everything, and then everything will start coming back new. See, so he always has a purpose. So that's what fire does. It refines, right? And the full of soap, which is the rod. He's trying to clean you up. This is what's going to happen. If you refuse to be clean, he's going to kill you. Malachi 3:5, and I will come near to you to judgment. All right? And I will be a swift, let me get this out the way. I will be a swift witness against the sorcerers, against the idolaters, against false swearers, against those that oppress the hireling and his wages. We see that's going on big time. Why you think they bring these other people over here? they don't want to pay you what you're worth. The widow and the fatherless, and that turn aside the stranger from his right. Wait a minute, what right could a stranger have? And fear not me, says Yahuwah of hosts. So we still got to remember what the young man was asking. How can anybody that's not Israel be spiritual Israel? And so let's keep going. I'm going to show you this thing always been spiritual. This ain't just happened. Now, Malachi 3:6, for I am Yahuwah, I change not. Therefore, you sons of Jacob are not consumed. Because right now, all Israel should be dead for all the things we've done and some of the things we still do. Malachi 3:16, then they that feared Yahuwah spake often one to another. Now, this is a very important scripture. See, because these are the ones that's fearing him right now, or supposed to be. And we're going to show you the difference between the old covenant and the new covenant. I renew, but no, it's not repaired. It is totally new. Y'all showed me this. So I'm going to show it to you. And now, did nobody speak to me? Wasn't no voices, nothing, just by reading and doing some research. And it just came across, and I was like, what? So I had to really look at it. Now, and a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared Yahuwah and that thought upon his name. So what you was talking about earlier, Nay, when he was like, well, God is, that's, you said that's a title. Well, no, it doesn't matter. It does matter. You want to make sure that you get in this book of remembrance. Because if you ain't in this book of remembrance, you got a problem, a big problem. So we always supposed to be talking about him while we on the phone, we run across folks and supposed to call to check up on each other and talk about that. That's all me and Moshe do. All we do is talk about script. See, but you want that book of remembrance. See, because it says a lot. It means that he's on your mind. Now let's look aside. Let's look at this. That turn aside the stranger from his right. So in the Brown Driver Briggs breakdown, it says overthrown. So overthrow them, to pervert them, right? Pitch, prolong, put away, show, spread out, stretch forth out, turn aside. You're not supposed to do that. And that's not what the brother was asking me, because I don't think he, like he said, he doesn't see why. He knows that they can dwell with us, but we're gonna get to the bottom of this. This is gonna take. This is the only way I know how to do it. Isaiah 42:1. Behold, my servant, whom I uphold, mine elect, in whom my soul delighteth. I have put my spirit upon him. We know that happened when at the baptism, and we know it was 7 of the spirits that he received. Right? He shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. And he is going to bring judgment forth to the Gentiles. Isaiah 42:6. I, Yahuwah, have called thee in righteousness. See, that's the key. Got to be righteous according to how he says we have to be righteous. Because when we're going to see when we get to this blotting of handwritten ordinances, that's part of the problem right now with most of the world. And will hold thine hand, and will keep thee and give thee for a covenant of the people for a light of the Gentiles. So this elect one, that's his elect. He's gonna be a covenant, a living, walking covenant, and he's gonna bring light to all that want it. Israel and the Gentiles, because we're gonna see, oh, Israel is not Israel. And we just can't point toward the Edomites and all that. No, he's talking about all people. See, Isaiah 42. Why are you going to do this, Yah? To open the blind eyes, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house. So if you don't have a covenant with him, you don't really know who he is. You don't even know his name. You don't know how to keep the feast day. You don't know how to do nothing. You in darkness. You in a prison house. Don't even realize it. So Isaiah 42:9. Behold, the former things are come to pass. Wait a minute. The former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I'm going to tell you of them. What is he talking about? We're going to find out. Let's keep riding. John 1:3. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. So this elect one made all things, and nothing was made that he didn't make. Now, a lot of people take this, and that's why they put the Mashiach over the Father. Most times you go to churches and some of these other, you never even hear about the Father. It's like he doesn't exist. But he gave the Mashiach the blueprint. Mashiach already told you. And that goes for the Spirit as well. I only say what my Father gives me to say. I only do the work that my Father gives me to do. See? So this is what he was instructed to do. So we look at Strong's G2 Greek 222 Zoe, and if we're looking at the word life, of the absolute fullness of life, both essential and ethical, which belongs to Elohim, and through him both to the hypostatic logos, right? Then that's like a way of life, and he is the logos because he is the aim that we're looking for. He is our symbol. He is our example, and the Christ in whom the logos put on human nature. Because remember, he put on flesh and came down here. The same one that gave the commandments, because he's the same one that created everything. The same one that gave the commandments and everything else. Okay, boom. He volunteered to come down here and take care of the Father's business. So he put on flesh became a covenant and was walking around. The covenant was right in the midst of the people. Life, real and genuine. Because when we walk in this way, we see what life really is, and it ain't worth much these days. It's gonna be even worthless as the days keep passing. Because I mean, you just don't never know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? A tornado could come through the night while we sleep. We could get flooded. I mean, hailstones big as eggs could start dropping. All kind of things. So this is why, again, I'm putting all my emphasis. I'm putting everything that I have into this thing from now on. I don't really care about nothing else. And I'm talking about me. I can't tell nobody what to do. I know what I have to do. A life active and vigorous. Remember we read about Moshe. He was over 100 years old, but he still was full of vigor. He wasn't all broke down and sick because the commandments help prolong your life. Devoted to who? Elohim. Blessed in the portion even in this world of those who put their trust in the Mashiach. But after the resurrection to be consummated by new accessions, among them a more perfect body and to last forever. And that's why we're doing all this. And we wouldn't be doing all this if we couldn't go into his word and everything he said he was going to do and is doing, we can see it. Because so that's what gives us the strength. That's what gives us the confidence that this is real. And so once he's revealed these things to us, then we know what we have to do. So light is Strong's number, Greek word 5457, right? The light of the Gentiles, judgment to the Gentiles. So he's going to give truth to them and its knowledge, together with spiritual purity associated with it. That's how you hold truth. The power of understanding, especially moral and spiritual truth. See? Because you got to remember, if you don't understand these things, you're sitting in darkness. I don't need to know the name of God. His name is God. You're in spiritual darkness. You in prison. See? I don't have to do this, or we don't have to do that no more. And then the bad part is won't even listen to find out if you do. And then it won't even take the time to find out. Maybe I'm telling you something you need to go look at. That's what happened to me. To bring forth into the light, to cause to shine. Shed light to shine. So when we was kids and they'd be like, rise and shine. Where do you think that came from? See? You supposed to be right when you rise. You supposed to be shining. When you walking down the way, you supposed to be risen up by this word, and you supposed to be shining light all over the place. Isaiah 60:1. Arise, shine, for your light has come. What light? The elect one. And the glory of Yahuwah rises upon you. For behold, darkness covers the earth, and thick darkness is over the people. But Yahuwah will rise upon you, and his glory will appear over you. Again, remember, we know he's talking to Israel and the nations. See? So we're going to show this covenant thing. And if you don't understand what a covenant is, that's the other thing. Please go on our class and look for the classes on. I got 2 or 3 classes on covenants. You got to understand that. That's the only way you're gonna really be able to understand the salvation and really get it. Because if you don't know what a covenant is, boy, that's one of the first things you need to find out. Let's keep riding. Now, this word many, very important word. We're gonna see this word a whole lot because it's very important. Because this way, when it says many, that could be whoever. It's not really putting a specific. It's not pointing out a specific people or anything. He said many. So John 1:10, he was in the world. Now this is talking about Israel, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came into his own, and his own received him not. Does that mean all of them? Of course it doesn't. Now you'll hear these Christian pastors try to make believe like Israel is cast away because when Mashiach came, they didn't receive him not. But see, they never go down to verse 12. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of Elohim, even to them that believed on his name. So we know when he came, he was only coming for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But then he sent the apostles out to get the rest of his creation. So as many of them as received to them, he gave them power to become the sons of Elohim. See, even to them that believe on his name. So we got to keep this in mind, right? Because we know a lot of this book was written to Israel, really 100% of it. But at the same time, you always had other people that was right there, willing to do the same things, living their life clean. But Israel can't seem to do that. Let's keep riding now. So the word servant is Strong's number 85650. And what these and I don't know if you guys know these letters, but you know, I'm gonna stop telling y'all what they mean. So I want you to screenshot them and go look up and see what they are. Because we need to know this alphabet. But what it's saying is, because that's the beauty of this Hebrew language. We could read it, but we also, once we understand these letters, the letters are gonna tell us a story as well. So when you're doing your research, if you see something, you're like, wait a minute, that ain't supposed to be that, because you understand that Hebrew word, and you can be like, nah, that ain't affection. That's something. That's he's saying he's risen. So it's saying, look and understand. This is what this word servant means. Look and understand. The door is open to the Father's house. So the door of the Father's house is open for his servants. You see? Because that's what we're trying to get to. That's where the many mansions is at. It's many rooms. That's in the Father's house. We got other classes on that. So when we jump down to this word elect, right? All we seeing is the strong arm, who is the prince, being all, because the strong arm, who is the prince or the elect one, right, or his servant, right, or his messenger, is coming out of the Father's house. Real simple stuff. Let's keep moving. That word be elect. Strong's number H972, because I went to the root word, chosen, chosen one, elect of Elohim. Right? So Strong's number H977, but R is to be chosen, to be selected. See? Isaiah 65 and 9. And I will bring forth a seed out of Jacob and out of Judah, an inheritor of my mountains. So who could that be? He's out of Israel, but specifically he's pointing to Judah, the tribe of Judah. And whoever this is, he's going to inherit the mountains. And mine elect shall inherit it, and my servant shall dwell there. So we know that the Messiah is going to inherit the kingdom. He's going to have a kingdom. He's going to lay everything down. But then his servants is going to dwell there. Because remember, we just showed you that. His house is open to all those that do what he says. Just that simple. Let's keep moving. Ephesians 1 through 4. Now let's go there. Ephesians 1 through 4. Tell you what, boy, Trey must be having a hard time trying to help brother get up here. Okay, Ephesians 1 through 4. Paul, an apostle of Yahushua HaMashiach, but I see we got some new people, so I'll give it a second so you can get to the book of Ephesians. And if you don't, everybody should have a Bible. Paul, an apostle of Yahushua HaMashiach, by the will of Elohim, to the saints which are at Ephesus, and to the faithful in Yahushua HaMashiach, or in Christ Yahshua. Grace be to you, and peace from Elohim, our Father, and from the sovereign Yahushua HaMashiach. Blessed be the Elohim and Father of our sovereign Yahushua HaMashiach, who has blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places in Christ. He's showing you, because that's what this is all about. It's always been spiritual, and it's spiritual now. According as he hath chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love. We can go back to Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 7 through 8 and see the same thing. So predestined us unto the adoption. So we got to look at predestined, the Strong's number G4309, to determine, decide beforehand. So if you're trying to get this thing, no matter who you are, if you Israel or you are of the nations, guess what? It was already predetermined. especially if you went ahead and got baptized in the name and you keeping these commandments. See, you just can't go do this on your own. Trust me. So then when we go to the root word for that is G number 4253, for, in front of, prior to, above, ago, before, or ever. So for us, that's up here now. We up here because this was already put in this. It's up to us to do it though, but it's already there. See, and so we look at this word adoption. It's G number 5206. It means adoption as sons. That relationship which Elohim was pleased to establish between himself and the Israelites in preference to all other nations. Exactly. Now, let's go down, let's go to the root word. Those who revere Elohim, not just Israel, as their father. Because if you've been immersed, you walking in these commandments, he is your father. You are a son and daughter of the Elohim. The pious worshipers of Elohim. That means somebody that's really serious about this, that's strong. Those who in character and life resemble Elohim, because you walking like him, you trying to talk like him, right? Those who are governed by the spirit of Elohim. See? And all these things, the spirit governed by the spirit of Elohim, see, all this was given to us as a gift from the Mashiach. Because the people under that first covenant, they didn't have this. He gave it to different prophets, different kings. I mean, you're the kings, you understand? They didn't have this. Repose the same calm and joyful trust in Elohim which children do in their parents. Let's go look at Romans 8 and 14. So you got to be adopted. We're going to show you that too. But just because you Israel don't mean nothing. If you're not spiritual Israel, you ain't got a chance. Because you will not get adopted. Because that's what we're trying to do. You got to get adopted. There's no other way. I don't care who you are. Romans 8 and 14. For as many as are led by the Spirit of Elohim, they are the sons of Elohim. See? For you have not received the spirit of bondage, right? Because that's what, if you don't know, if you don't understand Mashiach this way, you in bondage and don't even know it. Again, to fear, why would you be in bondage? Because you're scared of dying. But when you walk in this way, you don't have to be scared to die because you trust in him. You've been walking with him. You've been praying to him. You know, he's been showing you these different things. So you have confidence. I know he's going to raise me up. So no matter what. And we're going to have that mindset because please believe me, the ones that's up on this class, these people know that you up here. They know it. Because these algorithms and they up here when they go through this stuff, they shut me down for a week because of one word. You see? So this is so we don't have to be afraid, but you have received the spirit of adoption whereby we cry, Abba, Father. The spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of Elohim. And the children then heirs of Elohim and joint heirs with the Mashiach. Because we already just got done reading, he's going to inherit all this stuff. But then he's still going to turn around and give it to the Father. If so be that we suffer with him, that's coming, that we may be glorified together. Man, I can go through this whole thing. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed to us. For an earnest expectation of the creature which is thus waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of Elohim. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who has subjected the same in hope. We can look at Proverbs 14 to 32 to understand that. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage, what bondage? Of this body of corruption. Because we know when we died, our body's gonna go, it's gonna rot and it's gonna go back to the earth and to the glorious liberty of the children of Elohim. So we're gonna have a new body. But again, we're gonna show you what you're gonna have to do. We're gonna show you that. You're gonna have to be in covenant with him. Period. Because let me keep going. Let's go to Galatians 3 and 26. Like I said, this thing, it ain't just started being, it ain't, it's always been spiritual. We're going to read that, but we're going to do a little reading today. I ain't in no rush. I ain't been up here in a while, trying to get my thing together. And I'm still doing what I got to do. So Galatians 3:26 says, "For you are all the children of Elohim by faith in Christ HaMashiach." Now we can go to Hebrews 10:1 through 6 to look at that as well. I'm hoping you're writing this down. And hereafter, let's go back up here now. And hereafter, in the blessedness and glory of life eternal, will openly wear this dignity of the sons of Elohim. You're gonna be glad to have this. See, how are we gonna do that? Okay, term used preeminently of Yahushua HaMashiach as enjoying the supreme love of Elohim, united to him in affectionate intimacy, privy to his saving counsels, obedient to the Father's will and in his acts. That's what it's going to take for you to be in covenant and for you to be spiritual. We're going to show you that. Let's keep rolling. And like I said, the brother asked a real good question. I'm not trying to attack anybody. I'm just trying. This is my argument. Romans 8:14. For as many as are led by, see, there's that word again. For as many as are led by the Spirit of Elohim, they are the sons of Elohim. Period. I need some water. And we just got done reading Galatians 3:26. For you are all the children of Elohim by faith in Christ Yahshua. So this word faith is G number 4102. That's the Greek word number Strong's Greek 4102, with the included idea of trust. Because if we trust Yah, then we're gonna do our best to do what He said. And holy fervor. We're supposed to be on fire for this thing. And a lot of us been in this thing a long time. For me, I really don't have no excuse. I'm supposed to be like on fire all the time. Born of faith and joined with it fidelity. Those are three big words: trust, fervor, and fidelity. So write them down when you get a chance. Use your Strongs and go look them up. Now let's keep rolling. Deuteronomy 7:6. For thou art an holy people unto Yahuwah thy Elohim. Yahuwah thy Elohim have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. All right. First Chronicles 16:13. O you seed of Israel, his servant, you children of Jacob, his chosen ones. Exodus 4:22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus says Yahuwah, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. And so, if you don't understand what he's really saying there, you need to go watch the series on the firstborn. Because as firstborn, we have a job that we're supposed to be doing. You see? And so this is what I'm trying to do right now. But that firstborn is a very powerful thing. And when you're dealing in the spiritual world, it has a lot of power. When you start going back looking at these, like Moses, firstborn, Mashiach, firstborn, and they still, and Moshe still understood the Melchizedek order, as all the patriarchs did. See, so that's why you see Abraham going to save his brother, or his nephew, but his brother, who was Lot. That's what a firstborn does. They come and they try to help the people. They try to save the people. They try to get the people this word. That's what it's. And then guess what? You even got the greatest one of all the firstborns that laid down his life, because that's what really is supposed to happen. That's why when you start going through the script and you see how Reuben and the rest of them was doing all these things, then as firstborn, Reuben was supposed to be great. Ain't that what his father told him? But he threw that away when he went and laid up with his father's concubine. Anyway, like I said, if you haven't seen that lesson, please go look at the lesson on the firstborn. Isaiah 65:9. And I will bring forth a seed out of Jacob and out of Judah, an inheritor of my mountains. And mine elect shall inherit it, and my servant shall dwell. I had to say that again, because I want y'all to see something here. So the servant is a slave servant, manservant. But it also could be subjects. What do you mean subjects? Well, we dealing with a king, and the king has a kingdom. And if you want to be in that kingdom, you got to be subjugated to him, or you got to be one of his subjects. See, so servant is also worshipers of Elohim. Because so this is why it really this is how he looks at this. And it's not like a slave in a bad situation like we've been used to, our ancestors went through. It just means that you basically are giving up everything for him. You love your master and you want to please him any way that you possibly can, because he's the one that gives you the salvation. He's the bestower of all life. He's your provider, you see. But then you also know he's great, but then he's terrible as well. Just don't, please believe, don't, if you get everything from him, everything comes from him, the good and the bad, even though people don't want to believe that. Because he said, I make light and I make darkness. I made the good and I make the evil. It's up to you to choose this day which one that you want. Because if you choose life, then I'm going to teach you about me. I'm going to give you my rules, and this is what I want you to do. If you choose death, then I'm going to send that to you too. Now, the children of Israel, the firstborn of Yahuwah, right? So we read that in Exodus 4:22, Exodus 19:5. And now, if you will indeed hear my voice and keep my covenant, you shall be to me a peculiar people above all nations, for the whole earth is not mine. So it's a condition thing here. So we see it's a condition. See, you got to keep this covenant. Otherwise, you ain't going to be no peculiar people to him, right? Above all nations. I mean, that's the key. And we got to get, like I say, there's conditions with this Elohim. You know, but they never talk about these conditions. It's oh, he loves everybody and everything is okay. Just believe in him. Okay, but the devils believe and they know he's real and they tremble. Exodus 19:6, and you shall be to me a royal priesthood and a holy nation. These words shall thou speak to the children of Israel. Right? And we know if we went to First Peter chapter 2, 4 through 10, he's going to tell you the same thing. Because again, when you come to these letters of Paul and Peter and these guys, oh, they didn't have these letters. This part of the book that the Catholic Church or these Christians keep most of their people in. You know what I mean? That wasn't even around. The Gospels wasn't here. None of that. They wasn't written down. They was living it. They was alive, seeing this stuff happening. They was with the Mashiach. Before then, all they had to reference was what the Mashiach in the spirit, as Yahuwah Elohim, gave them. So all they could do was just keep going back to the Old Testament. I gotta go back to, because that's what it was. They at this time the covenant was amongst them, but they didn't understand that at first, because when he blew his breath on them, then all these things was revealed because he filled them with spirit. Okay, let's keep going. Now, a royal definition of or relating to a king or queen or other sovereign. Royal power, a royal palace. So the Father's house, the house of all power, the house where all that ever was and all that can ever be comes from. This is the true inheritance. So that's what we're trying to do. John 14:2. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. Did he say he's going to prepare a mansion for you to have your own mansion? No. Okay. When you get to the bottom of it, you'll find out that it's a room. In my Father's house are many mansions. So there's Greek lexicon. It's Strong's number 1722. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. You all right? Okay. Now, so let's look at this word in. Equals a place proper. So I'm gonna go make you up a nice room. I'm gonna go ahead and make your bed up, put you a nice little couch in there. I'm gonna give you the hookup. So Strong's mansions is Strong's number G33614. A house, an inhabited edifice, a dwelling, the inmates of a house, the family, the property, wealth, goods. He's gonna share all that with you. But you gotta make it into his house, right? Okay, because there's many mansions for the many. Notice he didn't say all Israel. Let's keep rolling. So Mark 11:17. And he taught, saying, unto them, is it not written, my Father's house shall be called of all nations the house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves. And he was talking about those Pharisees. And Isaiah 56:7 says, even them will I bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices will be accepted on mine altar. For my house shall be called a house of prayer for all nations. So again, we just showing the two, and like the brother said, he don't have a problem with the nations dwelling with us. But we're gonna go a little bit deeper than that. So Isaiah 2 and 2, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow to it. So again, we still on the same thing. All kind of people gonna be there. Because we know that when they you know when the people was caught up, it was all kind of tongues, different languages, all these things. Now, so the mixed multitude from the beginning and at the end. Because this is prophecy up here. You understand what I'm saying? But guess what? It was the same way in the beginning when they came out of Egypt. Okay, let's keep going. Now, Matthew 5 and 15. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and giveth light unto all that are in the house. See? The Father's house is full of light. And while we walking in this covenant, because we in covenant with him, right? Because again, that's what immersion does for you. Because that's basically what you're saying. Okay, now I'm gonna be a wife, and I'm waiting on you, my husband. But I'm gonna keep my garments clean until you come back and rescue me. Because I know that you are this covenant. Now, just keep going. That's why the Mashiach is so important. So you a priest, right? Light of truth and covenant. So now you see, you got the what? You got the tree right here, and it represents truth and covenant. That's why you had the priest going in there lighting it, making sure the candle was lit up. And the way the temple was made, it was, oh my goodness. But Yah knows everything. Now, mansions, Strong's G number 3438. A staying, abiding, dwelling abode, to make one's abode, to act o'er the place, abode, a mansion. Right? John 14 and 23. Yahshua answered and said unto him, if a man love me, he will keep my words. And we know he already told you his words come from the Father. And my Father will love him. Why? Because you really keeping the Father's words. But you're going through the Mashiach as your example. And we will come into him and make our abode with him. We're going to make our dwelling place with them. Right? Because we know we've been told all these years that we're going up to heaven, but the tabernacle is going to be right here in the middle of men. We're going to show you that. See? But if you're not spiritual Israel, period, whoever you are, you're not going to see it. We're going to prove that. Abode, Strong's number 3306. To remain, abide, in reference to a place. To sojourn or to live there, tarry, not to depart. We're going to show you why. If you get to this, if you can get to the abode with them, you ain't got to worry about departing because you ain't going to be able to. I'm going to show you why. And when I show you why, you're going to see the differences in the covenants. That's how you're going to know it's new because it's too many things. It's just too many things that are brand new that he's going to do to be held, kept continually. See, you ain't going nowhere. In reference to time, to continue to be, not to perish, to last, endure. Sound like living forever for me. Of persons to survive, to live. In reference to state of condition, to remain as one, not to become another or different, to wait for or wait one. And we're going to show you, and we're going to come back to this later on when we get more down deeper into this thing. But I'm just trying to get in mind what you got to do. So Israel is raised sheath, or Israel is from the beginning. They are the first. I mean, I have no problem with that. Under the old covenant, yeah. And then even in the new, even when this thing becomes new, Israel has to be paid double back for everything they've been going through, all the discriminations, all the hangings, all the other bad food and bad giving people shots and not telling them what it is and doing tests on us. They done did a lot of stuff, but they're gonna pay for that. But still, how you gonna get paid if you ain't spiritual? You ain't spiritual, you ain't gonna see none of all these rewards and all this payback that y'all's gonna do. So Jeremiah 2 and 3. And the book says, It came also in the days of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, until the end of the 11th year. La, la, la. Um, year of Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, until the carrying away of Jerusalem captive in the 5th month. Then the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. Right? Then said I, Yahweh Elohim, behold, I cannot speak, for I'm a child. But Yahweh said to me, Say not, I am a child. But I am not a child, for thou shalt go to all that I send thee, and whatsoever I command thee, thou shalt speak. Right? Let's go look at something else. Let's go look at Proverbs. Proverbs. What am I doing way up here? Proverbs 8:22 through 23. Says, Yahuwah possessed me in the beginning, on his way before his works of old. Right? I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning of ever the earth was. So now we see that it's wisdom, right? So wisdom is Ray Sheaf too. Okay? Let's look at the word. The word is Ray Sheaf. Let's go to John. Ray Sheaf just means a beginner. And we know that Israel is Yah's firstborn. Because he's the firstborn of what? Of all the other nations that's going to come. Of all his other creation. We got that. We don't have a problem with that. That's simple stuff. We know that. But if we don't get up under this covenant with the Mashiach, you got a problem. And it's all spiritual. Okay? John 1 through 2. In the beginning was a word, and the word was with Elohim, and the word was Elohim. The same was in the beginning with Elohim. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. All right, let's go to 1 Corinthians. Right? I'm sorry. And in him was life, and the life was the light of men. I can do a lot with that. Isaiah 43:10, Isaiah 45:18. Man, so let's go over here and look at 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians. Where you at, boy? Here you go. 15-23. All right. Now, but every man in his own order, Christ the first fruits, because we know he was resurrected first. Afterward, they that are Christ at his coming. So that's what we waiting on. He's already done it. So now we supposed to be good little brides, not whoring around with other Elohims, not playing around with matches like sorcery and all these other things. Right? You're supposed to be trying to be like him. And you're going to need to do that. Now let's go. I'm going to read this book, Apocrypha. This is out of the Apocrypha, Baruch chapter 4. So we're going to look at this. Let me get this thing out the way. All right. This is the book of the commandments of Yahuwah, and the law that endure forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it, shall die. Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Okay, Jacob, because you are raised sheep, so he's talking to you. In the presence of light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated. Give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation. O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to Yahuwah are made known unto us. You were sold to the nations not for your destruction, but because you moved Yahuwah to wrath, you were delivered into the enemies. He told you that. He's gonna send you amongst your enemies. That's why like even now, that people are, oh, this is so bad here. They just do us any kind of way. Well, you don't want to do what he says. He told you he was gonna do that. For you provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils. And we people do this every day and don't even realize it. And not to Yahuwah, especially when you go to these whorehouses. When you go to these churches with all this foolishness in it, that's what you basically doing. See, 'cause you ain't you because I mean, really, when you look at the devil that you sacrifice it to, he got his own agenda too. He got his commandments that you got to keep. He tell you you can eat whatever you want. Don't worry about it. Okay, I can eat whatever. No, I can pray over it. Yep, he told you that. Well, so I gotta go to church on Sunday. I mean, he told you that. I mean, all these other things. That's sacrificing to devils, whether you know it or not. You have forgotten the everlasting Elohim that brought you up, and you have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. For when she saw the wrath of Yahweh coming upon you, she said, Hearken, O ye that will dwell about Zion. Elohim have brought upon me great mourning. For I saw the captivity of my sons and my daughters, which the everlasting brought upon them. See? So why are we going through this, Israel? Because like you said, the young man got a point, but we're going to see that this has to do with the first part, the flesh. With joy did I nourish them, but sent them away with weeping and mourning. Let no man rejoice over me, a widow and forsaken of many. Now, that's Jerusalem. And for who for the sins of my children am left desolate, because they departed from the law of Elohim. They knew not his statutes, right? His mitzvah. We just got done looking at that. Nor walked in the ways of his commandments, nor trod in the path of the discipline in his righteousness. Let them that, because even with this word righteousness, I mean, and that's the other thing. A lot of people don't. We use tools around here, so this is why we know what this is. But if you just do a test and ask the average Christian, what is righteousness? Watch what kind of answer you get. We know what this means because he just got done reading it to you. This righteousness covers his statutes, his law, right? Walking in his ways, his commandments, right? Nor trod in the path of the discipline in his righteousness. Let them that dwell about Zion come and remember you the captivity of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting has brought upon them. See? For he hath brought a nation upon them from far, a shameless nation and a strange language, who neither reverence old man nor pity children. That's been going on through the whole history of Israel, and we just saw the last few hundred years ago this was happening then. These have carried away, and then we looked at it again when we watched the video on the Juneteenth. Those you don't think those people was Israel? Because Israel just didn't come from like they've been telling us, well, you got put on slaves. You got put on, they was grabbing you here in America, putting you on ships, taking you to Cuba and all these other places, mixing you all up, changing names of places and changing your name. Now you got to fight out of all of this. And you can't fight out of that stuff unless you got somebody showing you how to do it, or you got to pick up books. You got to look at history. You can but we don't do that because we got other Elohims we worshiping, like them game, the football game, the basketball game, the race, or what's going on over here, the housewives, hip hop, all this foolishness, TV. That ain't nothing but an Elohim. These have carried away the dear beloved children of the widow and left her that was alone, desolate, without daughters. But what can I help you? See, because we don't want no help. And that's the reason why is because, like the brother said, yeah, he made a covenant with us in the very beginning, but we broke it. See, and then what did he do? We're gonna see what happened with that, and we're gonna show you why this thing is. I praise Yah for showing me that. For he that brought these plagues upon you will deliver you from the hands of your enemies. So the ones that did this to you, he'll help you, but you don't want no help. Go your way, O my children, go your way, for I am left desolate. I have put off the clothing of peace and put on the sackcloth of my prayer. I will cry unto the everlasting in my days. Be of good cheer, O my children, cry to Yahuwah, and he will deliver you from the power and hand of the enemy. That's the only way it's gonna happen. Marching and electing these officials. That's going all they're gonna do as soon as they get elected. They don't know him. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna take bribes and everything else, and your condition is still gonna be worse. Because now they are taking these immigrants and they putting them all in our neighborhood. And the people are saying, "How could this happen? We're Americans." No, you're not. For my hope is in the everlasting. That's all we're going to have the hope in. And he's showing you this every day. that he will save you. And joy is coming to me from the Holy One, because of the mercy which shall soon come into you from the everlasting our Savior. For I've sent you out with mourning and weeping, but the Elohim will give you to me again with joy and gladness forever. So we are going to end up going back to Jerusalem, back to that mountain. He already told you he gonna wipe your tears out your eyes, because you know your uncle Bill didn't make it, or one of your sons didn't. You know, he just didn't see this. See, or your mama or your daddy didn't. You understand? Because you're gonna be there in white, looking at everything. Like as now the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity, so shall they see shortly your salvation from our Elohim, which shall come upon you with great glory and brightness of the everlasting. So we're going to see this. See? All the nations be like, man, what is wrong with these people? Why they, man, I hate that I even got a store down here. So, okay, but I know they stupid. So I know they're going to, no matter what, I can give them old food, old beer, give them all the stuff that, I'm a Muslim. I would never have a store with blunts and condoms and alcohol in it, but I give it to them because I know who they are. And they don't even know anyway. So, you know, we got to put bulletproof glass up, you know, have the door so we can lock that in case they do something crazy until the police get here. But that's it. I'm going to take your money. And you don't even know what that is. They work hard for it, go through all kind of stuff for it, and don't even know what it really is. And then they put a lot of credence in it when it's all really a Ponzi scheme from the beginning. We just print papers. Printed paper has no value. And they killing each other for it and doing all these other things. These women is out here selling their body for nothing. My children suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from the Elohim. Take the pain, for thine enemy has persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction and shalt tread upon his neck. My delicate ones have gone through rough ways and were taken away as a flock caught of the enemies. Be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto Yahuwah, for you shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. Right? So how you be remembered of him? Speaking about him often. And we just got done reading that. That's how you get your name in the book of remembrance. But if you're not doing that, is he going to remember you? No. For as it was your mind to go astray from Yahuwah, so being returned, seek him 10 times more. This is what we have to do now. Or this is what I have to do now. For he that hath brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy with your salvation. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee. Miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoice at thy fall. So he's going to take care of thee. We see America is falling to pieces right now. Everything that's dealing with this place here, or that's belong to the powers that be. Because you know, if you just go look up the White House, see if they own that, and see whose name that they put on the White House. Who was this guy named White? You know, that's just real simple. It's real small stuff like that that you can find out that this ain't nothing. The president ain't nothing but a corporate president. He runs this section of the world for the elite. Period. This is one of their corporations, America, and he runs that. Then they got the King of England. What did the guy say? One of the Rothschilds. I don't care who sits on the throne. As long as I control the money, I run it. So when they call those G8 summits and G7 summits, they gotta go because I'm giving you your orders on what I want you to do next. When Abraham was 90, now let's look at this. Abraham and the covenant of circumcision. Circumcision marked the covenant established with Abraham. Let's look at this. And Abraham was 90 and 9 years old. Yahweh appeared to Abraham and said to him, I am Elohim Almighty. Walk before me and be blameless, that I may make a covenant between me and you and may multiply you greatly. Then Abraham fell on his face, and Elohim said to him, behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be the father of a multitude of nations. No longer shall your name be called Abram, but your name shall be called Abraham, right? So put a hey in there. We already know what that means. If you don't understand, you got to go back to the firstborn class. I break that down. For I have made you the father of a multitude of nations. I will make you exceedingly fruitful, and I will make you into nations. Well, how did that happen? Well, we got to remember, Israel was scattered, and they started being, they was just scattered amongst the nations. So again, to answer the young brother's question, I mean, you just can't look at me because I'm black and all of a sudden I'm Israel. You can't do that. Because again, Israel been in captivity all over for thousands of years, living amongst these other people, eating with them, marrying them, and all these things. Hell, some of us that's here that we look black, we might not even be Israel. How do you know? That's again. So again, let's keep rolling. Verse 7. I'm sorry, verse 6. I will make you exceedingly fruitful, and I will make you into nations, and kings shall come from you. And I will establish my covenant between me and you and your offspring after you throughout your generations for an everlasting covenant. See? But we're gonna see. That's what he wanted to do. And he is gonna end up doing that. But if something happened during the first covenant, somebody broke it. To be Elohim to you and to your offspring after you. And I will cause to you and to your offspring after you the land of your sojourning, all the land of Canaan, which is Israel, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their Elohim. Elohim said to Abraham, and as for you, you shall keep my covenant, you and your offspring after you throughout the generations. This is my covenant which you shall keep between me and you and your offspring after you. Every male among you shall be circumcised. You shall be circumcised in the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and you. He who is 8 days old among you shall be circumcised. Every male throughout your generations, whether born in your house or brought with money from any foreigner who is not of your offspring, both he who is born in your house and he who is bought with your money. So that is stranger, whatever. They dwelling amongst you, Abraham. You got to teach them about this covenant, and they have to be circumcised. Shall surely be circumcised. So shall my covenant be in your flesh, an everlasting covenant. An uncircumcised male who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin shall be cut off from his people. He has broken the covenant. Uh-oh. So we see here, when you break this covenant, it's a wrap, right? Let's keep going. Let's keep looking at this. Exodus 22 and 21. You shall not oppress the stranger. You ain't like supposed to push him away. You're supposed to love him like you love yourself. I'm going to show you why. Since you yourselves know the feelings of a stranger. For you also were strangers in the land of Egypt. You shall not detest an Edomite. So you guys be all beating up, man. We hate Esau. We gonna do this to Esau. You ain't supposed to do nothing to Esau. You're supposed to trust in Yah and let him handle that. For he is your brother. You shall not detest an Egyptian because you were an alien in his land. Right? And we can go to Isaiah chapter 19, I believe it is, and he's going to show you. He called Egypt his people. Wow. Exodus 12 and 48. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to Yahweh, let all his males be circumcised. Okay, we got that. And then, because he's telling you the same thing that he told Abraham, and then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land, nor no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. He's gonna tell you that in the future too. So let's look at this. He shall be as one, this stranger. So when we look at this, we go to the Strong's Lexicon H249. Wait a minute, he gonna be a native, one rising from the soil. Now, why would he say that? That's somebody coming out the soil. That mean they homeborn, ain't they? A man, native Israelites. Okay. Of tree, native to Israel. So this person, he shall be as one of you. If I'm doing what he doing what Yah said, he gonna be like a native Israelite. He gonna be like one rising out of the soil. Like he didn't have to be transplanted. He growed up straight out the soil like you, of a tree. And he gonna be a native to Israel. To rise, come forth, break out, arise. What? Rise up and shine. So he was talking to them too. And we're going to show you this when we get to the new part. You got it, because I had to break this in sections because it was so much. So much. But this stranger, if he's doing everything, he is considered the same as you, Israel. And we're going to show you some other stuff too. We're gonna look at this because y'all he said he ain't no respecter of persons. He wants obedience. Now, Isaiah 61, and I got this out of the Brenton Septuagint translation, that there should be given to them that mourn in Zion glory, beauty, instead of ashes, the oil of joy, the mourners to the joy to the mourners, the garment of glory for the spirit of heaviness. And they shall be called generations or trees of righteousness, the planting of Yahweh for glory. So he said he's gonna give you beauty. What are you gonna do? You're gonna put a headdress or ornament or a turban on your head, right? And I know that little video I sent them. They said, "Oh, you have to have your head covered." Yeah, you do, but that's his thing. But we've proven this before, and like I said, if you don't understand that, then go to the class on the Ruach or the Holy Spirit, the Ruach. It's up there. Revelation 3 and 5. He who overcomes will thus be clothed in white garments, and I will not erase his name from the book of life. See, that's the other book you want to be in. And I will confess his name before my Father and before his messengers. See? Mark 8:24 through 30. Yeah, because you got to remember when the blind man, when he healed him, that's the first thing he said. Then he threw the water on his eyes and they was back like no, but he was seeing. Yah was showing him something. See? So as he says right up here, it says the garment of glory for the spirit of heaviness, and they shall be called generations, trees of righteousness, the planting of Yahuwah for glory. Because I already said you're a native, you're a homeborn, and it's like you coming out the dirt. Ain't nobody had to go get no trees from from Egypt and come and plant them. You just like somebody that's one of us. King James Version. He looked up and said, "I see men as trees walking." And after he put his hands again upon his eyes and made him look up, he was restored and saw every man clearly. So this is why the Mashiach tells you, Revelation 3:18, I advise you to buy from me gold, refined by fire, so that you may become rich, and white garments, so that you may clothe yourself, and that the shame of your nakedness will not be revealed. Because guess what? Please believe me, if you get in the kingdom, you're gonna have white garments on. If you ain't, I wonder if you're gonna be naked standing right before the creator, because everybody gonna be able to see all your shame, throw you in the lake of fire. And I salve to anoint your eyes so that you may see. And this is what we're trying to do right now. Now, Ezekiel 17:22. This is what the sovereign says. I myself will take a shoot from the very top of the cedar and plant it. I will break off the tender sprig from its topmost shoots and plant it on a high and lofty mountain. We just got done reading about how the Mashiach going to be planted on a mountain. He's going to inherit everything. Because he uses these, he uses them because he got these people as farmers, so they understand this stuff. On the mountain heights of Israel, I will plant it. It will produce branches, see, because that's us, and bear fruit and become a splendid cedar. Birds of every kind will nest in it. They will find shelter in the shade of the branches. All the trees of the forest will know that I, Yahuwah, bring down the tall tree, this whole system, and make the low tree grow tall. I dry up the green tree and make the dry tree flourish. Wow, ain't that something? Yeah, and I know that's true because remember when we lived in Atlanta, we had that tree cut down, but we didn't get the stump taken out. And it was dry. And then all of a sudden, and when it kept raining, that joker started sprouting all over again. I, Yahoo, have spoken and I will do it. Can't nobody change that. A shoot will come up from the stump of Jesse. From his roots, a branch will bear fruit. The spirit of Yahweh rests on him. We know who this is. And the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and of might, the spirit of the knowledge and the fear of Yahweh. This is going to be really important when we look at this new covenant. And he will delight in the fear of Yahweh. He will not judge by what he sees with his eyes or decide by what he hears with his ears. How's he going to do that then? With righteousness. See? He going to use the same mitzvah that he told you about. That's what you're going to get judged by. But with righteousness he will judge the needy, and with justice he will give decisions for the poor of the earth. He will strike the earth with the rod of his mouth, with the breath of his lips. He will slay the wicked. And we know that's going to be at the end in Armageddon, Righteousness will be his belt, and faithfulness the sash around his waist. Now, so it's one law for all, because again, they are fellow citizens. Just like when we get adopted, we try to be fellow citizens in the kingdom. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that's a joint among you. Why? Because he's a homeborn tree. He's just like Israel. Exodus 20 and 10. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahweh, thy Elohim. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. So everything has to obey, right? Exodus 12 and 38. Now let's get to this. I got some questions I want to ask about this. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle. Exodus 19 and 2. For they were departed from Rephidim, and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. Well, if Israel was there, guess who else was there? The stranger, the mixed multitude. They was right there. Now, therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all the people, for all the earth is mine. Got that. Now, let's keep rolling. Let's keep moving. Now, Exodus 24 and 7. Then he took the book of the covenant and read it to the people, who replied, all that Yahweh has spoken we will do, and we will be obedient. Now, again, we never read anywhere where it says that the stranger or the Egyptians, because you know there had to be some of them too, that was right there with me, never had anything said that they was put over here and they didn't partake in this. So that means they got blood sprinkled on them, and that means they said all you would say we will do, because they was right there. And it says the people, and said, this is the blood of the covenant that Yahuwah has made with you in accordance with all these words. So when you go to these places like Lebanon and stuff like that, and you see these people that don't even look nothing like no Negro, they over there got the Ten Commandments and start cutting the side of the mountain, right? They keeping the commandments, they doing everything. Again, and they talking about this thing goes back for thousands of years. Cause some of them people, some of they when these when Israel got jacked up and spread out, their folks went all they took this all over the place. And you could prove that by the Tower of Babel. It's equal. So if you go look up the flood story, it's all over the world. Everybody knew what happened. Because when the people were scattered, they knew about Elohim. They was trying to kill them. Anyway, Strong's number 89971. So the people just means nation, people, nation, person, members of one's people, compatriots, countrymen, kinsmen, kindred. But hold on, man. How can an Egyptian and Hebrew be kindred? Because they worship in the same Elohim, right? Even with Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, he didn't know nothing about this. Even though they make it seem like that on the Ten Commandments on TV, he did not know nothing. When Moses came back, he was telling them all the great things of Yahweh. And he said, wow, now I know that this is the Elohim. So what did he know before? See, as a congregated unit, this is the key right here. See, so that as long as you in it, that's what he's looking at. As long as you're a congregated unit. So Genesis Jacinius Hebrew Chaldee lexicon, to collect, join together a people. So all these people was a congregated, and they were a people together when they was right here hearing this. They saw the smoke on the mountain. They heard the trumpet being blown. They saw the wind and everything running around, which really just represents the ruach. Because when you go to Acts, it's the same thing. So we just gotta keep an open mind with this. Words is Strong's number 1697. The word debar, business, occupation, acts. So our business and our occupation is what? To follow and serve Elohim. To speak, declare, converse, command, promise, warn, threaten, and sin. So that's what his word does. And I got it in red because we know it's a root word. Ecclesiastes 12:13-14. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Elohim and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man, period. And again, this is what keeps you spiritual. you don't do this, then you ain't gonna never have no rule. You ain't gonna never learn nothing. You can't just pick up this book and read it. It's hid from you. So again, I'm just trying to show that again, the spiritual Israel is gonna be the key to this, and I'm gonna get to that, but it won't be this time. Now, and Moses came and told the people all the words of Yahweh and all the judgments, mitzvah, and all the people answered with one voice. There's nowhere here. I can go to the Septuagint and pull it up too. It's going to tell you the same thing. It ain't said that this was just all Israel that said this. No, everybody got sprinkled and they all agreed and said all these words which Yahweh has said we will do. So the people here is again a compatriot, fellow citizen, or national of a country. We just got done looking at that, broke that down, and showed you that these people were supposed to be treated the same, and they was counted as Israel. Period. Period. And I know it's gonna be a lot. No, that can't be. I'm just. This is my argument. Prove me wrong. Now, stranger persuades Israel. Now, this is another problem that Israel had. These people, the people began complaining out loud to Yahuwah about their troubles. When Yahuwah heard them, he became angry, and fire from Yahuwah began to burn among them. Did it say it was just the strangers that got burned up? It probably was the strangers that was used to having all these things, like my man was saying, because they was, they wasn't slaves. You was a slave, and it destroyed some people on the outskirts of the camp. The people cried out to Moshe. Moshe prayed to Yahuwah, and the fire died down. That place was called Taberah, which means fire, because fire from Yahuwah burned among them there. Some foreigners among the Israelites had a strong craving for other kinds of food because they was used to probably eating better than the slaves was. Even the Israelites started crying again and said, if only we had meat to eat. Remember all the free fish we ate in Egypt and all the cucumbers, watermelons, leeks, onions, garlics we had. But now we've lost our appetite. Everywhere we look, there's nothing but manna. So now if you mess around and get out to the wilderness, this is one thing you better stay away from because, again, it's all going to be a test. All right. Now let's look at it from another angle. Let's look at it from the LXX. Hold on, give me a second. Let me drink some water. Numbers 1 and 1, the same thing out of the LXX. Now let's look how it's worded here. And the people murmured sinfully. So that means when you're complaining about stuff that ain't going your way, that ain't good. Before Yahuwah, and Yahuwah heard them and was very angry, and fire was kindled among them from Yahuwah and devoured a part of the camp. So Isaiah 30 and 2, because before you didn't have no spirit to help you. You didn't have nothing to help you. But under this new covenant, when you get to the kingdom, and your ear shall hear a word behind you saying, look, man, you start going, man, don't do that. This is the way to walk in it. When you turn to the right, or even when you turn to look, don't do that. Don't go over there. Keep straight. Keep walking the path. See, they never had that before. They never had it. But since the new covenant came, somebody gave you a precious gift to help you with that. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Psalm 74 and 20. Have respect unto the covenant, for the dark places of the earth are full of the habitations of cruelty. And we see some of this stuff that's happening now. The killings, the rapists. I mean, you go up there and look at the news in New York City, the 5 boroughs alone. You be like, these people done lost their mind. And that's just one place. We know this craziness is that, I mean, it's happening everywhere because these people are in darkness. But we supposed to be in the light. So this is why we always keep praying that Yah help us, forgive us, and we gotta always repent. See, because like I tell people all the time, ain't no big thing, and no ain't. I mean, we all got problems. We all got issues with this flesh. Every last one of us. It's just the one that overcomes it is the one that's gonna get in the kingdom. Because all of us was born with something that we dealing with that was blowed into your DNA when he put that breath in you. Okay, this is what you're gonna have to overcome. Okay, I'm gonna give you this. You're gonna have to fight that. Okay, sister, I'm gonna put this on you, and you're gonna have to do that. Whether people know that you're doing it or not, whether you're doing it in secret, he sees all. You just gotta figure out what that is and do everything you possibly can to defeat it. Now, And so we got to keep talking about this right here because again I want to point out these things. Isaiah 33, 1 through 26. We ain't gonna go all the way, but we're gonna read some of just enough to get the full flavor. For behold, Yahuwah Elohim of hosts is taken away from Jerusalem and from Judah support and supply. All support of bread, all support of water. The mighty man and the soldier, the judge and the prophet, the diviner and the elder. We and this is getting ready to happen all over again. The captain of 50 and the man of rank, the counselor and the skillful magician and an expert in charm. So, and I would make boys their princes. We can see that right now. Cause these little young boys, they running everything, and you better not say nothing to them, cause they will kill you. And infants shall rule over them. And these kids, I mean, they running wild, and the people will oppress one another. Everyone his fellow and everyone his neighbor. The youth will be insolent to the elder and the despised to the honorable. And if you can't see this right now in this black community, I don't even know what you must be. I don't know what you want. So we see this every day, and I don't care where you at, wherever on this planet, wherever these people is at, it's the same crap going on. But because you won't serve your Elohim, you got these spirits that's okay. Go ahead and take care of this, because I'm tired of them anyway. Yeah, yeah, you got a covenant and don't even know it, don't even care. The fear of Yahweh drives away sins. Where it abides, it turns back all anger. Unjust anger can never be justified. Anger pulls a person to utter ruin. And we see the hatred that we have for each other. And I mean, you can't even say the white man no more, because who kills you more than you? All right? Who? How could you? I mean, you can't blame nobody else for this. It's our problem because, like he said, the brother said, we have the covenant. Oh yeah, yeah, I know. And look what's happening to you. Right? You can't even get along at home with your wife. Y'all arguing and cheating on each other and doing all kind of other stuff. Yeah, yeah. Zechariah 11:9. Then said I will not feed you. That died. Go ahead and die. I'm tired of y'all. Whatever, whoever live, live. If that dies, then go ahead and die. And that is to be cut off, let it be cut off. And let the rest eat everyone the flesh of another. So let them feed off each other. But that's exactly what's happening. And since I've been back here, more than ever. And I took my staff, even beauty, and cut it asunder that I might break my covenant which I had made with all the people. So now, did he really break the covenant or did Israel break the covenant? Israel broke the covenant from the very beginning. We're going to look at that. Then I cut mine other staff, even bands, that I might break the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. And so this is why we having these problems all the time. Now let's keep rolling. Because this is the thing they put in our minds, right? Sitting there watching this garbage. And this is what Esau gives you. People all up in this. And then you idolize these people. They got you can see, I mean, I'm gonna leave this alone. Because I almost said something crazy, but it's just so sad. And then I mean, let me. This is just another way that they put all this craziness into my mind. And so what you do is instead of striving to find out who the Elohim is and how to get your name in the book of remembrance in the book of life, you spending all your time trying to do whatever you got to do to live this Jezebel lifestyle. And that's really all it is. Entertainment. Wow. Spiritually dead, floating face down in the mainstream. The fact the only way a brother can survive the game, the block hard to get by the dope dealing, fatal killings, and fed time, the riding rhyme. It ain't just the police. We kill each other, just lost another brother. Fast living will get you took, thinking it can't happen to you, and then it do. Off crooked schemes is just a dream, floating face down in the mainstream. And so this is how you're gonna find the people of the covenant, mostly. So many young kids out here losing their life every day. It ain't even funny. They had a killing up the street here not 2 days ago. Because they are chasing a certain lifestyle, but they're not chasing Yahoo. So let's look at this first generation Israel, and then we're gonna We almost there for the first part. The first generation Israel, it was all in the flesh. Period. It was all about being in the flesh. Every male among you shall be circumcised. You shall be circumcised in the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and you. He who is 8 days old among you shall be circumcised. Now, here it is. You're supposed to remember this. And then this was supposed to be passed down for information. So every time you went to the bathroom as a man, you guess what's supposed to be on your mind? This covenant. Y'all came up with so many ways to try to show you and for you to keep this covenant. But we won't do it. But then the first thing we do, oh, well, I mean, can't nobody else have none of this. It's all mine. Oh, yeah, you can come over here with us, but no, you can't. Come on, I'm gonna show you how that ain't so. Numbers 32 and 13. And Yahuwah's anger was kindled against Israel, and he made them wander in the wilderness 40 years until all the generation that had done evil in the sight of Yahuwah was consumed. Because I'm telling you right now, if you're not spiritual Israel, this is gonna happen to you again. Because if you haven't done the steps to keep covenant, then you're gonna be lost. And we're gonna show you. It's just certain things. We're gonna show. Oh man, next week gonna be even better. So let's second generation Israel, because he wiped all them out and he let the children go to the promised land. Okay, so they had broken the covenant. So Moses got mad, Moshe through the commandments, had him, all these things. Okay, but Yah in his mercy, because he always says, I keep my part of the deal. Even if you do stupid things, because I am who I am. I'm never gonna break that. So now he called Moses back up, he rewrite the commandments and give them to you. Right? Okay, now, so y'all still wouldn't do right. So he had to kill you off. And then now he come into the children. So now all the people that came out were came out of where? Out of the wilderness was circumcised. But that came out of Egypt was circumcised. But all the people that were born in the wilderness by the way as they came forth out of Egypt, them they had not circumcised. So this is going to show you a more wickedness of the people. Because they didn't even they knew that was a covenant to circumcise their children. But they weren't even doing that. Joshua 5 and 17, and their children, whom he raised up in their instead of them, okay, I'm gonna raise this next generation. Maybe they'll do what I say. Then Joshua circumcised, for they were uncircumcised because they had not circumcised them by the way. I'm just showing you just the wickedness of Israel. Deuteronomy 10, 12 through 17. So this has always been it. Circumcise your mind or your heart. And now, Israel, what does Yahweh Elohim require of you? But to fear Yahweh your Elohim, to walk in all his ways, to love him, to serve Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart and with all your soul, and to keep the commandments and statutes of Yahweh, which I am commanding you today for your good. Behold, to Yahweh your Elohim belongs heaven and the heaven of heavens. What? The earth with all that is in it. Yet Yahweh set his heart in love on your fathers and chose their offspring after them. You above all peoples as you are this day. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your mind and be no longer stubborn. For Yahweh your Elohim is Elohim of Elohims and sovereign of sovereigns, the great, the mighty, and the awesome Elohim, who is not partial and takes no bribes. So he's telling you back then, okay, I chose y'all, but if you don't do what I say, I ain't partial. I will kill you. You don't belong to me. See, we have to understand that. And then again, he's telling you right here, belong heaven and the heaven of heavens. So when somebody say, if you would write this one down, when somebody say they're going to heaven, which one you talking about, man? Are you talking about heaven or are you talking about the heaven of heavens? Deuteronomy 30 and 6. Yahweh your Elohim will circumcise your hearts and the hearts of your descendants. You will love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart and with all your soul, and you will live. You want to live good here? This is what you got to do. You want to get in the kingdom so you can live forever? This is what you got to do here. Doesn't again? He says he who is not partial and takes no bribes. Okay, let's keep going. Now, steps to the covenant. Hebrews 8 and 9. It will not be like the covenant that I made with your fathers when I took them by the women. Now, So this is what Paul is saying, because we're going to get to that. But he said he's going to make a covenant, but not like the covenant I made with your fathers when I took them by the hand to lead them out of Egypt. No, this is going to be different. It's something totally different is coming your way, because they did not abide by my covenant, and I disregarded them, declares Yahweh. So again, he ain't partial. If you don't want to abide by my covenant, then get on, get to stepping. Okay, you Israel, so what? I'm looking at the ones that do what I say. We're gonna get to that. Now, First Corinthians 10:1. Moreover, brother, I would not that you should be ignorant, how that all our fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea. First Corinthians 10:2, and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea. So we see that here you have the mediator of the first covenant. And guess what? You had to be baptized unto him. We're all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea. So we see baptism is very important, right? Immersion, right? And why? Because here's Moshe. He's an intercessor. He was a firstborn high priest, because he was after the Melchizedek order. That Aaron thing, that was a whole nother thing. All right, First Corinthians 10:4, and did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ. Okay, but now first with First Corinthians 10:5. But with many, there go that word again, of them Elohim was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. We just got done finding that out. He just wiped out all them old heads that just couldn't seem to get it right. But again, I wonder if he would have put his spirit on them or gave them that ruach there. Okay, but we see with many. Okay, now, covenant words of Yahuwah gives life or death. The commandments which is ordained to life, to arrange, appoint, ordain, prescribe, give order. If not obeyed, would bring the curse from the book of the law and will bring death. Because the carnal mind is enmity against Elohim, for it is not subject to the law of Elohim, neither can be. So you can't be a subject if you got a carnal mind. You just can't do it. Yeah? You can't be a subject. You can't be his servant if your mind is carnal, because you ain't trying to keep no commandments. Romans 7:12. Wherefore the law is holy and commandments holy and just and good. Now, let's look at Moses' law real quick. And then, you know what? We're going to stop right here. I really want to keep going, because I am kind of ain't did this in a while. I wanted to get down to there, but it might be a little bit too much. So, all right, we're going to stop right here. And we're going to pray out. And if we got any questions, we're going to go through all that too. Let me see. Okay. Okay, well, we're going to stop right here. So remember, we're going to start talking about Moses' law. I got to show it, because all this stuff is necessary for you to understand exactly what's going on with this new first covenant. It's the only way you're going to get it. So we got to go take our time and walk through this thing so that you understand. So go ahead, bow your heads real quick. We're going to pray out. And then if there's any questions, we'll go through it. Elohim, Almighty Father of all creation, the one that gives life and breath to all things, seen and unseen. Right? Emperor, master of all spirits, we thank you for this class today. We ask that you remember those that tried to get up here for some reason couldn't. And we just ask, Father, that if any of us needs to be healed, if any of us has an issue, that you remember us, Father, and keep us, Father. We praise you, Father, and we thank you for all things. In Yahushua's name we pray. Hallelujah.